I'm Commander Shepard, and this is my favorite
podcast
on the Citadel.
You are listening to Accidentally Casual, the nerdy gaming podcast with ADHD. My name is Minius of Minius GC, and with me are my co-hosts, Tucker from Talking About Games.
Hi.
And Scott from BioWare Babbling.
Zup, nerds?
See, there's a good solid effort.
See? Well, I said hi that time.
Oh, now you know.
Yeah, I mean, I'm tired of going over how we want to bring energy to the show at the beginning, and you don't do it.
Hey, he's a latecomer.
I don't know.
We all know it comes in later. We all know it comes in later.
We basically had, like, Tucker's been on a rant enough for the last maybe 45 minutes. And then he just comes in with a very soft hi.
Well, I mean, if you want me to be excited about certain things, you could let me pick, like, the starting topics for certain things.
Well, I mean, I tried to get you to do that, and it didn't work out. But, so this week...
I wanted to talk about
actually,
GTA 6.
okay, I'm going to be honest. At this point, if Tucker comes out with a super energetic outro, I am going to be very scared. Or intro. Shit!
Intro?
Yeah,
are we going This has been episode 33 of Accidentally Casual. I hope you guys enjoyed these minutes that we did it. Next week on the show, I'm just kidding.
Jesus.
You've been super inconsistent. Anyway, we'll talk about a couple things we did. First of all, we had a stream, the first time we actually advertised one on Saturday. Went fairly well. I really enjoyed getting people on with us that we played with, although that was not as smooth as I hoped, and getting those people to just be completely flabbergasted with the way Tucker would go 90 degrees change on a topic. It was nice to share that with people.
Yeah, no, but the stream was fun. It was
just sit there.
Definitely a little chaotic getting people on, but the stream was very fun, and we got a lot more people than I was honestly expecting for our first. I mean, we did a test stream a bit before, but yeah, I think that was the first time we actually said some things about it beforehand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we'll do that more often.
With Scott this time.
With Scott, because Scott will be around.
I won't have funerals and things like that will get in my way.
As far as you know.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Minions, do not wish that energy on me. I do not want that.
I could.
That's really messed up.
Like, if you need an excuse, I can like fill up that funeral spot next week.
No. Bad, Tucker. Tucker,
you don't want to do that.
I roughly kind of slightly know where you live. I at least know where you go do the majority of your grocery shopping. Bad.
Yeah, to which you also saw my grocery shopping habit thing, which is apparently something that surprises people. Just that I go grocery shopping like every 2 or 3 days.
It's something I want no part of, really. Like we get along on a couple levels, and I just I can picture myself going in there and this has been a complete disaster. Tucker shopping.
What?
It just because I could just see you like you're not even looking. You're just like squirrel, chink, and you see a nut on the counter and you grab it and throw it in your cart, and then you talk about something completely else, and it would drive me nuts.
Well, I mean, when I do go grocery shop, I do try to grab stuff that I either have no idea what it is, because there's one supermarket, Wojamaya, it's Asian market, and it there are some things there I have no recognition of, can't even read any of what it is on there, and I'm like, this looks safe.
For the context,
is that what you actually say? You're like, this looks safe?
For the context,
I assume it is.
Viewers at home, as I was in Seattle unfortunately for a funeral, I decided, fuck it, let's go visit Tucker while I'm at it. Hence why I know these things and where he shops.
And he's still regretting it. It's been 3 days.
No, it was awesome. I showed him Pike's Market. I showed him the strip club that was across the street. There's showed him Golden Age Comics, which is or Golden Age Collectibles, which is the best spot in Pike's Market.
Yep. Yeah.
Minius, you would love that place too.
They still got one running, huh? Because most of the stuff around me is starting to break down. You're talking about Seattle, nerd collectibles, comic book collectibles, or everything?
It had one whole like aisle was scripts for movies and TV episodes and stuff like that.
Yeah, they have like a D&D section. They have several comic sections for like both Marvel, DC, manga. They have also a bunch of different nerdy
Individual
collectibles.
like standalone comic. There was one comic that was an apocalyptic Scooby-Doo, and Shaggy looks like it's just absolutely incredible with slick back hair. Scooby has a cybernetic eye.
He looks like the buffest hipster you've ever seen in your life.
It's incredible.
I'm having a hard time picturing this, but I kind of don't want to. So
You don't.
Oh,
Wait, you don't like the idea of giant buff hipsters? Do you have a problem with that?
with a cybernetic eye, like
Yeah,
it's just something I
that's
don't want to see, man. That's not a direction I want the world to go in.
Well, I mean, it was
just
like
It's like
it was-
it's like Googleplex, you know? That's all it is, right? Just a few extra steps.
But yeah, so Scott and I kind of just hung out a bit around then. That was fun. That was kind of cool. And I got to also hang out with Minius at a point. So now we just need
And we
Minius
got-
and Scott to hang out.
Yeah, and you're very far
Y'all
away.
can talk
We
shit
actually
about
got
me.
along very well, which was surprising.
Well, yeah.
I mean, seriously, like people listen to the podcast long enough. It's surprising how well we got along.
Why do you find it surprising?
Because I've listened to every single episode we've done.
Yeah, but I like you, Minius.
By the way, Union wrote into accidentallycasual@gmail.com asking about the future of those streams. At the moment, we're kind of looking at like every other week, depending on how interested people are, which would put the next one, if you guys are okay with, and I'm going to
Yes,
get the date
I'm
actually
already-
correct this time,
I'm already fine with it.
Saturday the 10th of April.
Sure.
Okay.
I was about to say I shouldn't have too much of an issue.
Although
Okay.
I'm also going to try streaming more on it. Like I was actually going to stream after this podcast. Just the new DLC for Dead by Daylight came out, and I haven't played that game in a while because they updated the HUD, and I absolutely hated it. And also, the game was completely broken. Like they released new characters, and one of the perks on the characters just flat out didn't work. Was just broken. It was like Cyberpunk release.
That's the one where you play
And-
as like fictional serial killer like characters, right? And you go kill
it is
people.
it is
Yep.
an asymmetrical game, which I am learning. I absolutely love asymmetrical games.
Asymmetrical multiplayer, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Things like Dead by Daylight, absolutely love, because I'm also just a big fan of horror. So being able to play as Michael Myers or the Demogorgon or some of that stuff, like that's just cool. But I enjoyed Evolve.
I actually enjoyed Evolve too.
I thought that was
Yeah,
like a really fun idea. Having
I think what most people's issue with Evolve is just the way they were trying to monetize that. It was
absolutely.
bad.
It was
Yeah.
it was I mean
It was basically charging $60 and then having the same kind of transactions that a free to play game had.
well, I think there was $120 worth of cosmetics or something like that at launch. That it was like $1 jackets and stuff like that, but each character had 10 different jackets or whatnot. It was a ridiculous amount. And they also very unfortunately, or just didn't plan this right, the demo, the beta stuff was really, really fun. And the reason it was so fun is because that was the entire game. Like, the entire game.
Yeah, there
was
I
the
guess
beta.
It was the $60 price tag for a game that's not normally on the line for dollars. Oh, here's a kind of a topic here. What do you guys consider, and this is going with this, a good money to gameplay value? Like
What do you mean?
How much money do you want to spend on a game, and how many hours of entertainment do you need out of it in order to feel like you've made a good purchase?
Oh, I get what you're talking about.
Yeah. So,
I
like,
know some people have talked about it, and like a good idea is like $1 per hour.
One
So
to
it's
one?
like, if it's I know some people are doing that.
I've heard that too.
Yeah, I know that's. I mean, I also think that's the simplest one, but I don't think that works quite as well if you're talking about like some indie games and stuff like that, because they just don't have that value.
Yeah, because I was about to bring up that as the counter argument to that. Is I absolutely love some of those small indie games, or not even if it's indie, but just some of those shorter story focused games, kind of like Limbo or Inside.
Never
What Remains of
Alone.
Edith Finch.
Yeah, I think Never Alone is a good example as well of that.
That's
granted,
the one with the little girl and
it's essentially it's telling oh god, I can't it's not the Inuit, it's not an Inuit legend, it's one of the tribes up north though, and I can't remember.
It was really interesting because that's like a type of mythology that never gets talked about, or a type of culture that doesn't really get talked about, and then the collectibles in the game unlocked real stories from people in the tribe.
Oh yeah, no.
But it was a short game. Like you would get about $5, $6, maybe $7 per hour out of that. But it just depends on how you treat that game.
I think my question is fundamentally flawed because, although I still want to chat about it, because not all hours of entertainment are equal.
Yeah. I mean,
so if you're like, it's not just one-to-one, like I enjoyed myself or I didn't enjoy myself. Because sometimes you really enjoy yourself, or it's enough of a unique experience that it's totally worth a different ratio.
And other things to toss in as well. What about Game Pass or things like that? That's a subscription service of $15 a month, and you can have access to the Master Chief Collection, which can give you thousands of hours of gameplay, and also has What Remains of Edith Finch, which is like an hour and a half long gameplay that you just kind of play once, and that's the story.
#, we are not sponsored by Game Pass, but please, for the love of God, Game Pass, please sponsor us.
There's no reason they'll do that because Tucker already gives them free stuff.
They will be like,
actually,
hey,
Tucker pays for Game Pass.
I do,
and
I will simp.
So it's literally the opposite of a sponsorship. Tucker is paying them to talk about how great they hear.
Sponsor. I'm curious. Will Game Pass ever just come out saying like, "Hey, we're sponsored by Tucker from the Accidentally Casual podcast"?
That would be doing us a huge favor.
An idea in my head, Scott. I will find a business or some sort of company that is called Tucker, and I will somehow negotiate a sponsorship or something, even if it's like a restaurant or something. I will make this work.
Oh no, what have I done? Anyway, I think
this is akin to that open invitation to
Henry Cavill.
Henry Cavill, and also the Queen. The Queen got the open invitation for Andromeda Nerds, but that extends onto this one because obviously, I mean, she's going to outlive it. But.
She's going to outlive her podcast by several hundred years.
God love the Queen. Sorry. Wait, nope, I probably shouldn't say that. Secret might kick my butt. Anyway. I will say, back on the topic of the value for games, I think you very much have to change it on almost a different type of category. Because, like, the problem is, like, with a multiplayer game, like, multiplayer games, it's weird. They have almost, like, they can be one of those games where you maybe put in, like, a few hours and you're done. Or it might be 2, 3, 4, 5 into the thousands of hours. You know?
Into the thousands.
Oh, yeah, for
some
multiplayer games? Multiplayer games? Oh, fuck yeah.
Thousands is not common. It feels like it's not that common.
There are people there are people that love the Call of Duty multiplayer.
I'm aware of that. Yeah.
I wouldn't say it's not common for sure, but I mean the fact that that's almost the ceiling, you know.
Yeah, even I play games for a really long time, and I rarely get to that 1,000 mark.
Yeah.
Has there been any game that you've bought that you've kind of regret that you've bought?
Oh yeah, my friend declared. Oh, I can't even remember the name of the name. It was the one that Epic came out with before Fortnite. It was he declared it the best game of all time. And I'm like, okay, I guess I have to play this. And we were done after about 2 hours. I paid full $60 for it.
Ooh.
I
still give him crap about that. Hold on, I gotta find it.
I paid $60 for the Amazing Spider-Man game
Mm-hmm.
and played it for like an hour and was just like, oh, this is not good.
Oh God, what game? Oh
And,
God.
and I wasn't able to really get a refund.
Paragon is the game. It's listed as officially a canceled game.
Yeah, that
Wasn't that-
game's canceled.
Wasn't that pretty much like they tried to copy Overwatch and it just went?
No,
Yeah,
it was somewhere in between a MOBA. It was more of a MOBA than anything else.
Okay,
Really?
gotcha.
Yeah, and my friend had never played a MOBA before, which is why he declared it the best game of all time.
You should introduce him to Smite.
He already found it.
Okay, because I was
Yeah.
gonna say if he liked that game, because he may not like League of Legends or Dota or
The
anything
bottom line, though,
top-down.
is when he says I should play a game, I generally, very hesitant to do it.
Oh, I'm happy to know I'm not alone anymore in that.
Well,
little bucket.
I haven't actually spent money on games you're like, you need to play this game. Because I've already put you on the list of like, I better really think about that.
No, but
'cause-
what I'm going to do though with streaming is I'm going to I have a plan to stream or to have you play games that are just weird one-off kind of games or interesting fun idea games.
Tucker has plans for me.
And you don't need to beat them or anything like that, but just like stream that. I'm going to call it accidentally gaming.
Where I play a game by accident.
Yeah, it's gonna be accidentally gaming, and then it'll be like ... I have no mouth and I
Okay.
must scream.
You don't like
Question, Minius. Do you trust us enough that we can just go on set up a streaming day and be like, Minius, we're not gonna tell you what the game is.
Yeah, I can.
But we're gonna play it.
I would be okay with that. I just you need to be prepared for the result of my reaction,
Oh,
which
sure.
is
I mean,
very unlikely to be positive.
I would be getting reactions that I would be expecting. Like I could have you play Pony Island, and the name in that alone, you will go in with that negative idea of this is a fucking joke, Tucker. What the fuck is this? But then us at the end of that game, you're gonna go like, okay, I understand now why that was why that's such an interesting game.
The one trepidation is you go in there with a QuickTime game, and it's just going to be a disaster stream, which actually people might
Pony
enjoy.
Island is not a quick time.
I'm just
event
afraid,
game.
let's play this Hannah Montana game. I don't think
Oh,
it's going to go well.
And the fact that you equate Pony Island with a Hannah Montana thing already is great.
I have no
I would
clue what that is.
I would put Pony Island in the same boat of Doki Doki Literature Club.
Oh no.
Okay.
It gives a very false first impression. But
Oh, God. I'm
just
just
things
having-
like that. Just because it'd be interesting to see your viewpoints on some of the different the artistic games.
I mean, I usually probably enjoy those a lot more, but I go through different phases of gaming, and I'm in a phase of gaming where I instead of trying out as many games as possible, I like to dive into a game as hard as possible.
Yeah.
So
and
I
this
can,
would also introduce you to games that you would never.
So you're out of the video game hoe phase, I see.
I'm sure I'll get back there at some point. I've already know that I'm probably going to be stuck with certain games for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And for instance, the
Outriders.
Yeah, well, I mean, we'll see. Outriders, I will be playing that soon.
You could stream Outriders.
Yeah, but I want to play it and enjoy it more than I want to put on a show, which is normally how I'm enjoying streaming a lot more. But I'm not sure if I'm enjoying streaming or enjoying playing the Mass Effect 3 multiplayer because I just love the Mass Effect 3 multiplayer.
That's
which
The
is why I
amazing
think I'm gonna
thing
like
about
Outriders.
the internet, Minius, the amazing thing about it is that there's billions of people. You can stream and do it how you want to. You don't have to make a show of it. You can just be yourself, and the people will find your content.
Yeah,
there will be
normally,
people.
I think we've gone through this a little bit before, but I discovered one of the reasons I play a game is it's really great alone time, and
That's fair.
streaming
That's
is
fair.
not alone time.
That's
It's
fair.
not.
That's a very fair argument.
It's like the opposite of alone time, which
Yeah.
is not alone time. Is that the opposite? You like that?
Sure.
Aren't I great at this? English is such a great language, man.
Dude,
It's
really
like
bothers me.
simultaneously the best and the worst language in the world.
It really bothers me how rough and through sound nothing alike, but pony and baloney rhyme.
There are so like I think there are more words in the English language than any other language.
I have no idea on that
At
one.
least no, like, and it's not even close.
I know that
I also know, like, the weird thing is about English is that how it's set up, like, there's some words that are just, like, where it's like, oh, yeah, we don't have, like, a word for, like, we won't have a word for something like 2 days after, like, 2 days from today. Like, we won't have a word for that.
But there's, like, a German word for it.
Yeah, but then we'll have some fucking word for the goddamn end of a shoelace. I'm sorry,
so do we,
which
in
one
England.
is more important? I know that. No, that's what I'm saying with English, is that we have a word for that, but not for a word for 2 days from today.
You can make the word. Have you ever read the book Frindle? I think is what it was called.
Mm-mm.
It was I would definitely say it was like a kid's book, or not a kid's book, but a more of a children's story. But it was the idea that this kid, they were talking about how do words get made in the English language, or just kind of stuff of that, talking about the language, and the kid decides to call a pen a frindle as a joke. And he starts doing it, and the other kids in class start doing it. All of them just start calling pens frindles. And then soon the entire school, all the kids, because there's a joke to them, they start calling it frindles. And then they start going out elsewhere, calling a pen a frindle.
These kids are so cool.
As it spreads,
Kids discover
it becomes
memes.
more and more common. And then frindle becomes a word for pen.
I think that's how
And
most of these languages work, man.
Yeah, but it was a book that explained the concept of it. It was a kid's book, but that reminded me of it, of how you were just talking about, like,
Yeah. Well,
why don't we have
English
these
is
words? We can make the word. We just need to be consistent enough with that word, and I guess confident enough. Like, you got to say it with confidence, and when you're using it, and then it'll just pick up.
Yeah, English has a bunch of different languages mashed into it, and we also steal words from other languages and just add them.
I think my favorite analogy for the English language is the English language is not actually a language. It is French, German, and Latin all stacked up wearing a trench coat together pretending to be one language.
Trench coat. It's a creepy trench coat. I've also seen conflicting answers on who has more words, but English is always high up there. All right. One of the reasons that we've been screwing around so much is I don't want to talk about how Jonathan Warner left BioWare.
Yeah.
So,
There's nothing. There's more talent, BioWare talent outside of BioWare than inside of it, which has been that way for a while.
but I mean that just happened.
Hold on, I shouldn't say talent, because that's not. I mean, more like you could make a BioWare studio out of ex-BioWare devs, and it would be awesome. I'll put it that way.
Yeah, I think the one issue I will say, for some odd reason, and I'm not sure why this is, and maybe this is just because my ear is to the ground towards BioWare. It always seems to be that every single BioWare dev that leaves somehow makes gaming headlines. And I don't know of many other companies
There are not. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
and granted,
no, I mean you see that with Blizzard, Activision,
I've noticed
Sony.
that. Yeah, but it seems to be for BioWare, which while they are a AAA studio, they're not that big of a AAA studio compared to.
It is kind of an interesting.
Yeah,
like,
but the fact that every single time a BioWare dev leaves, it somehow makes headlines. And I think the one thing is, one, there are still BioWare devs that have been working there for over 10 to 20 years. Let's remember that. Two, not everyone has their name on social media and is kind of known to the public. So, you kind of have to remember that a little bit. And three, let's also remember the burnout rate in the video game industry is really fucking bad. Like,
Yeah,
I'm
it
gonna be
is.
honest with you, the fact that BioWare has so many devs that work there for over 10 years is kind of is kind of surprising. Because there are some studios, you are considered the grizzled old veteran after 4 or 5 years of working at that company.
I mean, there are definitely some employees that have stayed at companies for longer than 10 or 15 years, something like that. But yeah, it's definitely not as common as what you might kind of be thinking.
Well,
people do go from company to company and stuff like that, but...
Well, another thing as well is that, and this is something that people got to just understand, is this is true at least for the American job market. I don't know if Canada is much different, and especially where BioWare Edmonton is a Canadian. I don't know if they're in a similar situation. Viewers, please let us know if kind of this rings true to either anyone in Canada or any of our other viewers. But one of the big things that is becoming very common in the American job market is that you don't, like, the days of you are staying at a company for 15, 20 years are disappearing fast. Generally speaking, most in the American job market, you maybe work for a company 5 or 6 years. And it's really common for someone to have 5 or 6 different careers in their lifetime. Easily.
Boom. Topic turn. Fall of American civilization.
Oh god, no, stop it. Stop it, Tucker. Stop it.
We've been doing that since before the country started. That's just how people work. They're like,
Yeah.
oh, it was always better 5 years ago. You're like, I don't know if you is that really true?
Who would have thought that a country that was founded on war and all
God.
that may have
Okay.
issues?
We're
No,
gonna cut you off here, but it's more on the historical thing of like, remember how great it was 50 years ago? And you're like, no,
Yeah.
it wasn't as great as you think.
That-
But
Yeah.
Yeah, there's actually a word. There is a word for that, and I actually can't remember what that's called.
Okay. Alright, so, yeah, that's just my 2 cents where it's like, in the American job market, it's not common to even have people stay at a company for that long. So, to see... And also, I'm really fucking tired of the spin of... You know, because I've seen it so many times over the last 5 or 6 years, and I'm sure you guys, you know, Minius and Tucker, you guys have probably seen it for even longer, and are probably more tired of it, of, oh, this is another sign that BioWare is going down, they lose another dev today. You know, after a while...
The only thing that bothers me about that, I mean, it fits the narrative, and people like to... And those articles get probably more clicks than anything else because they like to go in there and agree with each other, which is a lot of media is like that.
And also,
I still want someone to come out and talk about how great their time is at BioWare right before they left, and that doesn't happen very often.
Yeah, well, a lot of
it's
the
also
times
those types of articles.
In fact, the ones
people like
the most
being
people who
upset.
come out of there don't. I mean, they're generally they have NDAs, so they're not supposed to say anything, but it's unusual. Like, they're just people who aren't happy with the direction that they're going, and of course they would leave. So they wouldn't be happy with it. They're not really an unbiased source.
Yeah, who is oh god, who was the head of BioWare that left? Same time as Casey Hudson. I'm totally spacing his name. He left at the same time as Casey Hudson did.
Yeah, you're talking about Mark Dara? He wasn't the
Mark
head.
Dara.
Yeah.
Honestly, like, Mark Dora is the only one who I can think of who has actually talked about his time at BioWare afterwards. Only reason why I know that is because I follow him on YouTube, and he's been giving a lot of old, like, game dev advice, and kind of, like, showing different knickknacks throughout his career at BioWare.
That's cool.
Yeah. Like, it's kind of cool.
I think there's multiple ways to look at people leaving BioWare. One is that, BioWare is not what it was, which we already knew that. This is not news anymore, and it can't be because they're not an independent studio, and they just operate differently. There's a couple new studios propping up that look really cool. We talked about one earlier, Improbable Games, now Aaron Flynn, who was the GM for a long time, heading up that studio, working on a game. Really interested in seeing what they do.
Have they
we'll get
said anything
more
about
new
the game?
projects, which is better than just one.
Have they said anything about that game?
The one at Improbable,
Yeah.
as far as I can tell, the only thing out is that they were already working on something, and it is an RPG and multiplayer based game. Whether or not that works, who knows? I mean, that's really wide open.
Yeah. All right. So, shall we move on to one of our main topics for today?
I feel like we don't have a main topic today.
Yep.
Okay. So,
And I know who to blame that on.
uh,
It's probably my fault. I let Tucker. I could have come up and said we're doing this, and I kept on asking Tucker, what do you want to do? And Tucker was like, dude, I went to the store the other day, and so,
I told him about a job I got. And I'm happy about it.
I was like, Tucker, I asked you a question. He's like, yeah, but this question's boring. I'm like, Tucker, we're starting the podcast soon.
Yeah,
So,
no,
he literally
and
Tucker's like, this question is boring. I'm like, oh
and
my
it is
god.
because, like, you know, it's like, oh, what are we going to talk about on the podcast? Like, we'll find out about that when the podcast is going.
So basically,
yeah.
Tucker, here's something that happened, and I tweeted this out. Tucker came up with a bunch of podcast ideas. So I'm like, oh shoot, Tucker actually wants to try to organize this. No. The answer is no. No, he has no interest in organizing anything, so I will no longer try to let him do that.
That is not 100% true. You asked me to pick a topic, and I said I am fine with whatever.
So you didn't pick a topic.
Yeah.
anyway, moving
So
on
Cyberpunk.
from that.
Do you want to? So like,
Got-
you want to talk about live service games? Is that
So Cyberpunk got a
Okay, we'll talk about
massive
Cyberpunk.
patch. A
by massive? You mean like it's
patch.
bigger than a lot of games?
this? I mean, I don't know.
Or what is the average download?
It was
size
about
for new
40,
games?
Well, the patch, at least on the Xbox, the patch was 40 gigabytes. Although I think it may have been smaller in some other places. I think it was like 32 gigabytes of some of them. But
I mean, it's better than Call of Duty, which like, oh, you want a new update?
That's 100 gigabytes, please.
I uninstalled I uninstalled Modern Warfare because that game it by itself was taking up 250 gigabytes.
Jesus fucking Christ.
It was nuts, and games are getting massive.
The AAA ones are huge.
The Master Chief Collection, I think, is 120 roughly, but that's also multiple games.
Yeah, that's
And you can also go into the Master Chief Collection and specifically uninstall like Halo 4's campaign if you don't want that.
dude. How
can,
big
like,
do you think the Mass Effect Legendary Edition is going to be?
I'm
Those games
gonna
themselves
toss-
are actually not that big.
I'm gonna toss my guess to be between 30 and 40 gigs.
I'm gonna say 60 gigs.
Yeah, I was going to say that's low.
I'm gambling 60 gigs.
I'm guessing on some solid
I'll do
compression.
the cheap way. 61 gigs.
I am predicting
I
some
win.
solid
Minius,
compression.
you just done me dirty. You just done me dirty.
If I was going to give a real, I wouldn't be surprised at 75. But the 44 gig like patch, that's so big. That's so big.
It's big.
It's
But
so big.
There are 500 plus fixes on it. Here, I'm putting a link in the chat so y'all can actually like just see how long, how
there's some
many
really
fixes there are.
bad stuff. I mean, so
And-
like Tucker was really into, and there are people who are really, really, really into Cyberpunk, and I want to wait till it's done. And it's even like I
and-
saw
Jesus.
reviews of this patch, and it's not done. So
Oh, no,
I don't know when I'm going to play it.
There's still absolutely issues, and like the part of the issue in of itself is this is just bugs. There's also the issue of content actually like the fact you can't see what the outfit is going to look like on your character before buying it, or you can't customize your character afterward, or you can't customize vehicles or your apartment or anything like that.
Yeah.
And it's like, you know, I'm still considering the game not in a full state until it actually has more content.
They sold like 15 million copies pre-release, like, and it's not out until next year.
I don't know.
Is that how you're gonna
much
consider it?
Cyberpunk sold? I don't know how many copies they sold.
It was a lot.
I mean, I'm considering it as no. The game is out. They just
Okay.
put it out in bad quality, and
'Cause-
they are now taking the time to fix it. And like, when it's fixed, then judge it from a new perspective of it is fixed. They've put the time in. They've like, if it's free and all that, like how they respond to the criticism and the issues should also be taken into account. So it's like the game was released not in a complete state at all.
I would go further than that and say it is in one of the least complete states I've ever seen, which is why there was so much criticism.
It was
for
bad.
it.
It was bad.
So, speaking of things of making them go longer than
Well,
expected,
there's
live
some other stuff.
services.
There's some other stuff out of Rockstar too. That are
Wow,
worth-
I tried to transition.
I'm aware of that. There's other things that are worth mentioning. Like they're considering canceling the multiplayer entirely.
You mean of
Like they had a multiplayer plan.
CD Projekt Red,
CD
not
Projekt Red, yeah.
Rockstar. Because, but are they just gonna? Well,
That was the article I just saw today. Yeah.
I mean, I get it makes sense,
They also
but
were,
it's a little bit disappointing just because I enjoy playing games with my friends.
I wonder if they're giving up on that IP.
No.
You sure?
No.
I actually can kind of see it a little bit because while they have the source material, which was the Cyberpunk 2077 RPG book, it's not like it's a pretty expansive RPG as RPGs go, but it doesn't quite have the breadth that I would say that like the Witcher books have. Like, because the Witcher books, they have such a large universe and kind of so many different directions to go in that you can really go nuts with it. Versus, I don't think Cyberpunk has as much. I don't think that Cyberpunk provides as much for them to leap forward unless they really want to just start creating their own content, which, I mean, I'm sure they probably
I assume that's what they wanted to do.
Yeah. I would not be surprised if they are given their own, like, if they've been given a lot of, like, liberties to take, but, it's changing things up a little bit from an adaptation is one thing. Adding whole new storylines and building the universe to a pre-existing IP is a whole nother issue.
But I don't think they're going to get rid of the IP. They're going to hold on to the
They kind of
Cyberpunk
said
IP.
the second thing they said contradicts that guess. They say they're going to work on a new Witcher game and a new Witcher and Cyber at the same time, which I think they shouldn't have said because Cyberpunk's not done.
I mean, I'm not gonna say it sounds like BioWare, but
they did acquire
a little bit like BioWare.
They acquired another studio in Vancouver. Whether or not
CD Projekt Red?
Yeah, they're gonna call it like CD Projekt Canada or something like that. Wait for me to mention something and then not go in there. CD Projekt Red to develop Witcher Cyberpunk AAA game simultaneously starting next year. Okay. Like,
What are y'all's thoughts?
Why are you saying that?
Hmm?
All right, what are our thoughts on what? And then we'll let
what are
Scott
y'all's
get into his really proud segue that I completely cut off at the knees.
What are y'all's thoughts on stories of alternate history, like what Cyberpunk is?
I mean, I like it's fun. Depends on what it is.
Yeah.
Some of the time, a lot of this alternate history is really far fetched, but that doesn't make it not interesting.
I think there's some alternate history, like the idea of them can be really fun. I think what happens a lot is that they kind of just go over tropes, like kind of the same tropes over and over again. Like if it's a really it's one of those things where it's like, I kind of scoff at the idea of an alternate histories unless they come with a really new perspective, and then it's like, oh, okay, you got my attention. All right.
By the way, I will go back. CD Projekt Red is a Vancouver studio calling it CD Projekt Red Vancouver.
Oh, okay.
But as
not
far as
the most original.
that's
name.
super creative. They should have called it CD Projekt Blue or something. I mean, so much better.
Then they could have a rainbow.
And then they like CD Projekt Purple.
No. It has to be red, blue, and then green.
Do you
so
want
they
to
can, like get the starting colors?
So you get
going.
an RBG.
Yeah, and then they can start branching out because then like they can
Ultraviolet?
find the middle ground between red and blue. That can be purple.
Okay, you don't want to go with like aquamarine or ultraviolet or something like that.
Well, yeah, but they need to be properly positioned away from the other companies.
I don't know why this idea just popped into my
Like
head.
you're
but
mixing the
idea of,
colors properly
for some reason,
until CD Projekt Red just takes over the entire world in the rainbow.
That doesn't. They're not on the trajectory to do that anymore.
Yeah.
No, Bungie's still though. Bungie's still on their
I
world
don't-
of global domination.
I don't know if they are either.
No,
We'll
they
see.
are. They are.
I was
And
about
actually,
to, I just had a horrible idea of CD Projekt Ultraviolet is just their branch on the moon because of the ultraviolet rays that they get up there. Like, yep, that's ultraviolet.
They just send developers up there to die of cancer from the ultraviolet rays. Is that what you're? I don't know what you're getting at.
No,
yeah, but just think
no,
of
but
the.
apparently that's what I meant. Whoopsie.
But just think of the rendering power of the ISS.
Oh, good God. So can my transition come back from the dead now?
I feel like
Always.
I love the topic you're transitioning to, and I want to have a whole show on that. So we're already past the point of starting on that. Basically, the
Just something
concept
that
is live act. Like, there's a lot of games that are going to live service, and there's mixed reaction on that. I think the three of us are a lot more positive on live service games.
Yeah, but it
than
just
most
kind of be an
people.
interesting topic.
Yeah, I kind of want to make that the main topic of the show, which is what I wanted to do here, and Tucker kept on coming up with different stuff.
Oh, and
So-
like you didn't.
Haha! And
I
so
mean-
the reason I thought of the alternate history is because I got reminded of the Tom Taylorson book on Audible. Of Tom Taylorson voices this book on Audible that is.
You blaming me
'cause
for
that's-
being a squirrel?
That's Mass Effect related. Well, I mean, yeah. But Tom Taylorson voices this book on Audible about Thanos, his origin story in the MCU. Like, it is part of the MCU. It's official. Like, this is a Disney book and everything. And it's Tom Taylorson doing the voice for it, so I got that entirely for it. But it was also because I was reading or doing The Man in the High Castle.
Oh,
on
gotcha.
Audible,
Man
which
in the
is
High-
like I think the biggest alternate history one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The Man in the High Castle is good. But
I
kind of got a
will.
little weird once time travel got involved. But
I don't have interest in that because I feel like it's so far fetched that I'm just not interested. But people seem to really like it. So
in some time, the future will become the present, and what we consider the future will be the past. So, with Mass Effect, there will be a point in history where Mass Effect is then considered alternate history rather than science fiction.
do you think people are going to care about Mass Effect in like 150 years?
Oh, it's not even going to be that far away. I mean, when is it that they find the Mars thing? Mars relay?
Oh, the Mars thing is
like 2030 or something. Right?
No, it's far out.
No, it's
Yeah, it definitely is. It's definitely far out. It's like 30 years that they jump in. It's really quick.
Is it?
Because
once we get to that time,
it's like 120 years from now. So
yeah, it's something. Yeah, I was about to say it wasn't.
they're
it's nothing that-
they're developing moon bases and shit in like 2060s, but the actual discovery of the Prothean ruins is pretty far out.
Mhm.
That was actually, I mean, if you want to look at it from a realism
I see.
standpoint,
2148 was it? Well,
Yeah.
what was the thing that is closer? It was something about the Mars.
I mean, like, there's definitely a moon base established in
I think
2069.
that's what I was getting mixed up with.
That's
but,
a point where it would become alternate history, right?
Yeah.
yeah.
All right, so to get back onto what I was talking about before Tucker just went sideways. Topic for next week, live service games. Full-on topic, because we want to get into that. Like, for instance, Anthem was going to be a live service game and is not. I think people are excited about that.
I mean, it was a live service, and then it died.
It tried.
Did it?
It tried. It tried its best.
I guess it depends on how you define live service.
It was like the
exactly.
little engine that could, but if at the end of the book the engine couldn't make it.
Which kind of folds into, like, let's say there's a new Mass Effect game coming out, maybe.
Please.
What if
There is the
BioWare,
Legendary Edition.
please.
if that fails, would Mass Effect work better in a different way in like a MMO style live service game?
Yes.
I want to get into all of that, but I also
That
want to
is-
save it for more time.
Okay.
As that is a question that was brought up on the Discord channel by Prophet Lord.
Hey,
He
there we
actually
go.
brought up like a game pitch of what an MMO could look like with Mass Effect, and that could actually be a interesting conversation.
All right, so if you have thoughts on that, head to the Discord or write it into the the comment section. Go there, and we'll jump on that next week. So we actually have a topic for next week now.
Yep.
All right, so Scott had this idea that is actually kind of cool. Scott, why don't you pitch it?
Okay, so one of an idea this actually spurred from kind of a conversation like this happening as me and my girlfriend were driving back home from Seattle was what could beat a Reaper? And so the idea that I wanted to pitch to the viewers is what essentially you guys would either input from either Twitter, email at us, or from the Discord. What could possibly beat a Reaper? The stipulations that I was thinking of coming up with was the Mass Effect universe really isn't that powerful of a universe, when you compare it to other, especially a lot of science fiction ones. But what I was thinking about is the Reapers are generally the most powerful thing in the Mass Effect universe. So I was thinking about let's have a video where we discuss different
We're going to open it up to other fictional universes.
Yeah. So some examples of this could be I guess one of the other stipulations, it's going to be a Sovereign class Reaper, for those who actually care about that. Versus whatever. A good example of that would be a Sovereign class Reaper versus a Star Destroyer from Star Wars. Or I think I have this right, the Halcyon class cruiser from the Halo series, which that's the pillar, for context, that's like the Pillar of Autumn.
Yeah.
Things along that, and like things that not necessarily
I don't think the Reaper would survive against the Pillar of Autumn.
Well, who knows? That's what we're gonna try to find out. So we want it to be at least somewhat of a fair matchup. Like, if it's fucking Goku versus a Reaper, I'm sorry, Goku's going to fucking win. Or like Superman versus a Reaper. Superman's gonna fucking win because Superman's stupid like that.
How do you do the indoctrination part?
I am kind of leaving that out.
Okay.
I'm leaving indoctrination out.
I feel like that's
I think
important.
Yeah, I think it's a interesting concept. So like kind of an example where that actually might play a part. Like the conversation me and my girlfriend were having, it was like a show that she was watching. It was like something Ladybug, and like one of the things was like if you prolong a fight with a Reaper, you're talking about indoctrination. Now indoctrination starts beginning to play a part in it.
So maybe there's a time limit there. If you cannot win a war of attrition with a Reaper because of that, unless you have a defense against indoctrination potentially.
Yeah, which there aren't, especially how indoctrination works in the Mass Effect universe, there aren't a lot of ways you can defend against it.
Well, you can pretend like Magneto's helmet does it.
I mean,
That's my favorite mind control blocking thing. It's just a helmet.
yeah, like So, like, I think if it's... For the most part, I don't want to consider indoctrination unless it has to turn into a Like, if we think, oh, well, if they prolong the fight enough, then we can start considering indoctrination. But, you know...
Well, what about something indoctrinating the Reapers?
I don't think there's actually anything that... That would actually be incredibly difficult. Because of how indoctrination works within Mass Effect. A Reaper can be dead for millions of years and
well, yeah, but I mean,
still
like,
indoctrinate someone. It seems to be a passive ability, not necessarily an active ability.
Well,
So
yeah,
even
the same thing with the necromorphs, or like the like one of the big necromorph things. Like, I know that they have things that are the size of the planet, and that would not be a fair fight.
Yeah,
I understand Scott wanting to keep indoctrination out of it because of exactly what's going on right now in this conversation.
Yeah, it can get really weird, and then you're like prolonging the fight, which just kind of adds more of a mano-a-mano, head-on fight between Reaper versus...
Did it have to be a ship?
I would think it shouldn't have to be a ship.
It shouldn't, yeah. I think beings could be considered in this situation, for sure. Like, I know me and my girlfriend, we're having conversations of, like, different characters from Fairy Tail. Could they go up against a Reaper?
Well, like the Silver Surfer.
And that's one.
Ooh, no, I actually think the Silver Surfer's too overpowered.
Yeah, he would be actually... Yeah, but that was, like, just the first thing that came...
Yeah,
I mean, also
yeah,
I thought
like,
Galactus,
yeah, like,
but that one would not be fair either.
Also, there's a lot of iterations of characters in comic books, so you'd have to be more specific.
Yeah. But that's kind of something that I want to give to the fans of, like, give us... So, we don't want to do it for next week's topic, because that's going to be, like, live surface.
Unless something big comes up or really interesting.
Which, fucking knowing our luck, that's going to happen.
No, I mean, if we could get a solid list going, especially if we push this on, like, because this could actually be a really, really fun question.
Yeah.
If we get just an extensive, like not, just a list of just different characters, different things, different ships, different,
So,
from all this different types of mediums, rather than the same thing over and over. If we get a bunch of enough unique examples, that this could actually be...
Yeah. So I want to give it out to our community. Give us suggestions on either accidentally casual@gmail.com, on our Discord, or on Twitter. Just give us a bunch of suggestions. We kind of want to do this topic about 2 weeks out from now. So that will give us plenty of time to compile a list together, and also give us time to research, so then we know what the fuck we're talking about.
Yeah, which is important.
Yeah.
Boo! Tucker's not going to do any research.
Oh, you remember the times where I mean, you don't think I'm going to do research yet. When we were doing game pitches, I had a full PowerPoint presentation.
It has to be something you're very, very interested in at the moment. Otherwise, it's got no chance.
Oh, trust me, that PowerPoint did not take me in the moment.
Okay.
Anyway, so yeah, that was my pitch. That's something that I want to do, and something I want to throw to the community.
And we've had some similar conversations like that in the Discord chat. I don't know specifically. I'm pretty sure Reaper versus something has been brought up, but that has been some conversations that have been brought up in the Discord before, of like Tali versus a elite zealot from Halo.
I got like Tucker versus a Reaper. And the Reaper is just like, no, I'm done. And he leaves.
I challenge him to a battle of logic.
No, do you know what the best part is? I'm just imagining a Reaper is trying to hit Tucker, but Tucker's the small, like...
I'm too distracted to be indoctrinated.
No, it's just you're bouncing around too much from thing to thing. And she's like, God damn it, hold still, you shit!
Hey,
you're just going, scroll.
And the
I
Reaper's
like to think that I'm just too distracted to become indoctrinated.
You are
they'll try to start
feeble.
doing that.
Like,
then I'm like,
dude, I had this sandwich the other day. That was great.
Dude, this
and
Dr. Pepper's like kicking.
And the Reaper's like, I'm out of here, man.
And he's
This
like,
is too
no,
much.
pay attention, pay attention. And I'm like, oh, hey, let me tell you about Game Pass.
God damn it.
This indoctrination is brought to you by Raid Shadow Legends.
God damn it.
It was like the Reaper completely breaks down mentally.
Oh, God.
This went in a direction that Scott was not expecting
Oh,
or
God.
happy with, apparently.
No. See, the best part is I'm just loving fucking seeing Tucker, which, by the way, seeing him in person was very surprising. The fact that I weigh more than twice as much as he does.
I-
And
Everybody
I
weighs more than
literally-
twice as much
dude,
as he does.
well,
I'm
yeah,
like 100 pounds wet. I can fucking turn sideways, hide behind a flagpole.
No, what I didn't realize was that I could literally fit him in my backpack and just carry him around with me all the fucking time.
Yeah, and you're wondering, like, where the fuck is all that energy kept in the body? And it's like my metabolism.
That's
It's
that's
just-
why he's so skinny. Is it just completely? He doesn't store anything. He just lets it out. There's no filter.
Nope, that actually sounds about right.
So that's why he can't hold on to any weight, muscle mass, or otherwise. He just exudes all the energy. Are you guys ready for the obscure Mass Effect character of the week?
Yes, I am.
This is also something you can write in and suggest.
Is it the dam from Firebase Orto?
That's not a character, right?
It can.
Does
be.
it talk?
We can make it a character.
Well, the idea, there's two qualifiers for Mass Effect obscure character of the week. A, they need to be less obscure than Conrad Werner. That would qualify. B, they need an audio clip.
Hold
that
on.
one,
So
that
there-
one's not
wait a
there.
minute. Wait a
there
minute.
absolutely is a audio thing of the dam, though.
Like you just want like water trickling?
Just
Yeah,
There we
that's not going to be it. So this one, like every once in a while, people write in, and then I find a character while I'm looking for their character. And this is one of those. This is Kargesh, the fish-loving Krogan.
Is he also on?
No,
On
he is not on Tuchanka. You meet him on the Citadel, and
Okay.
he's like obsessed with fish being in the pond in the Presidium.
Oh, I
what-
remember him now.
what was his name? Oh, yeah.
It's I mean, they never say his name. He's labeled as Kargesh, I believe.
Kargesh.
I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. Kargesh. It's the quote I use most often in my videos where he's like, you tell him there's no fish, and he's like flabbergasted.
What? I told you. Why have all that water if you're not going to store something to eat in it? I don't understand aliens at all.
Thanks for telling me. It's all he's talked about all damn day.
Which is what I just put in there.
Oh,
A
nice.
Kinesh, a Krogan on level 27. This is a carrier war.
BioWare, or
So
in,
that would be
in
the first.
Mass
That'd
Effect
be
2.
the first one then.
No, it's in the second one, and
Oh, is it the second one?
and you also are allowed to buy a fish and hand it to him and say that's from the. Which is so messed. Like I've never. That's so. Why would you do that? Like, what's the point of that?
Hi. My name is Shepard. I have a person who is trying to take over the Citadel. But my God, am I going up to you, random citizen, and buying you a fucking fish?
I feel like tricking a Krogan is just a really dumb idea.
That
Is it
is
really
a very
tricky?
dumb idea.
I mean, how are you tricking it? You're giving him a sincere pet.
No, you're saying that yes, there are fish in the Presidium pond, and here's one of them.
Yeah, you're
So that's
trying
that's
you're
an
trying
outright-
to make him happy.
So it's an outright lie. It is definitely a trick.
but he's happy.
But-
that's what matters.
I don't think he would stay that way if he figured out you were lying.
See, the worst part is that I'm imagining years later, fucking just like, he's at the bar and it's like, yeah, no, I got fucking bamboozled by fucking Commander Shepard. He told me there was fish in the Presidium, and he gave me one. I thought it was it, but he freaking bamboozled me.
It's
What?
It's like, is that the lamest prank that you can pull off as Commander Shepard?
I mean, that might be. That might be.
Can you think of something
It's
lamer that
creative.
Shepard's done?
It's creative.
I mean,
definitely
other than
like-
giving
the
a
fact
person a
that
fish.
they went into every single store on the Citadel and said, "This is my favorite store on the Citadel."
Yeah,
which
pretty
is
much.
kind
LOL
of funny.
Got him.
That Shepard actually gets something from that, though, right? You get a discount.
Discount.
I mean, fair.
But you get a
what do
discount at
what
every
do you
store.
get out of tricking this really weird Krogan?
The happiness in your heart that you made someone else smile.
I don't think that's why Shepard did it. I feel
That's
like
why I
Shepard
did
is
it.
just being a dick.
Yeah. You kind of
And
have to go out of your way of that. But do you know what the craziest thing is? If that were to happen, let's all be real. No one would believe that Krogan. No one would believe them that the savior of the galaxy came up to them, tricked them into thinking there is fish in the Presidium, and then proceeded to give them said fish from the Presidium, and that it was all a trick the whole time.
Okay,
no one would believe them.
Alternate ending for Mass Effect 3. You're going back to Earth. You're going up to the Star Child. And
As you're about to
ready
go
make
to
a decision.
Marauder Shields.
Yeah, and then the Krogan shows up and is all pissed and kills
and just
you.
tackles you.
Why did you
just,
lie to
like,
me
And then
about
clotheslines
the
you like an NFL linebacker.
And just crush, and that was it. And the Reaper Child's like, well, okay, I guess I'm going to kill all of you.
Well,
no. It's before he even goes in
there.
there. He's like, during that final run, as they're running up to the beam, like, instead of Marauder Shields, it's the Krogan just
You got to get past him.
linebacking. Or
The
like
best
linebacker
part,
just
no,
running in
he
there.
has the fish in his hands.
It's
He
like, you
smacks
liar.
with
He
it.
starts slapping you with it. Slap, 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 slap.
How dare you tell me this is from the Presidium?
All right, so if you have this is what I'm going for with the obscure characters. Just a really weird side conversation.
But that kind of.
And you say you don't create tangents.
No, I just nowhere near on Tucker's level, and no one is.
But
That's
the waterfall that I just played, it's like one of those relaxing waterfall sound effects for sleeping. That reminds me that for the past week, I've been using ambient sound from Red Dead 2. Of when you're in a town or when you're in a forest or anything like that, there's like hour-long videos that are just like the birds chirping and all that kind of stuff. Throws my cat completely off. My cat's got no idea what's going on, but
And you relax to your cat freaking out. You're just like Shepard giving that poor Krogan a fish.
Well,
you dick.
My cat, I will put on my television and will put birds and stuff on there, and she will sit and watch the TV. And she also, my cat has certain video games that she likes to watch me play. And she has learned the opening sound effects of certain games. And she will sit next to me, or at least like on the table of the TV, like where that is, and watch. Like Red Dead, she absolutely loves when I play that in first person mode. Because I hunt just walking through the forests.
And you don't let her hunt and go out because you're at the top of a building.
It's fun though. There's
she
Dead by Daylight.
She has to get her hunting through you.
She recognizes the Dead by Daylight intro. She loves the Lego games. When the little coins pop out and they go all over the place, and she's like.
So this started with an obscure character of the week conversation where Tucker wanted to be a dam, and now he's talking about his cat watching video games.
Well, yeah, I turned my cat into a damn Azul in distress. Come on, Minius, get on my level.
I don't want to.
Ladies
and you made a really good case for me never to do that.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Accidentally Casual.
There's one more thing I want to end this with. So we did the stream and we'll do it again. Tucker's playing the Krogan Vanguard. And he tries to get in a melee battle with one of the Guardians, the Cerberus guy with the shield, and all of us stopped and just watched him, and he lost.
Well, I mean, I had to commit. At that point, I had to commit.
Like,
all of you guys were watching
this guy on the shield and just slowly being whittled down. It was great.
I want you to know, every time I headbanged him, I whispered in his ear, "You're making this really awkward for me. Please go down. I'll slip you a 5."
Oh, God. Oh, I'm just... That's what she said. Anyway, let's close this out, shall we?
Yeah. This has been episode number 33 of the Accidentally Casual Gaming Podcast. So
Did you know that 33 is the same forward and backwards?
Yes. You know what's interesting about this podcast? So, like, almost every other week, Tucker does something that's so random that I'm surprised. And this is 33 of Accidentally Casual, and there is like another 30 plus of Andromeda nerds, and some in between. I have no idea why I'm still surprised.
Minius, the fact that I still surprise you every time means that our friendship has only just begun
what
and is
friendship?
continuing and growing. The one that Minius,
No, you need you need to get Henry Cavill on the show, and then we can be friends.
That's one of the stipulations.
All right, Minius, lead us out.
We've all
Lead
look
us
at
out.
Scott's the one who's mad at me for not ending it. This is great. This is a
I
new
don't know
one.
what you're talking about.
This is so good.
Yeah.
We've all got YouTube
mean-
channels, by the way. They're in the description box. We're also all on Twitter. I'm at Minius GC. Tucker is at Appy Tucker, and Scott is at BioWare B. If you want to chat with other accidentally casual fans,
And where's the Twitch?
there's a
channel?
link in the to the Discord in the description box. Do you want to add your Twitch to that? I mean, I got no problem doing that.
We'll just toss that into the description as well.
So,
Okay.
are we
Yeah.
able to? Are you able to hold those videos up longer because they go down since you basically just started up and don't have enough followers, right?
I don't. Yeah, I think there's that is part of it, as well as with that stream, I streamed it natively on the Xbox. I have OBS and like that kind of streaming stuff, but to get all of y'all's audio, I streamed on the Xbox. But I know there's got to be ways where we can instead get into like a Discord chat.
Yeah, I think
and
I
stream the
imagine there
Discord
is.
chat
We'll
over it.
look into that. Do up the quality of that.
Yeah, because that did kind of downgrade some of the quality, and I also don't know if that saves video like that.
Anyway,
If it's on the Xbox, or it has to be like through the
if
website.
you want to chat with other accidentally casual fans, there's a link in the description box to Discord and Tucker's weird streaming channel that he does dumb stuff on, apparently. We'll be back next week. Well, they'll be back next week. Scott, take us. Say we'll be back next week.
We'll be back next week, ladies and gentlemen. I will see you there.
Thanks for saving me. Tucker, say hi.
Hello.
Scott, say hi.
Hi. Ho-ho.
At least he said hi this time. A little creepily.